Share screen. So just going back to week 1, guys, we saw about like the main overview and the outcome we are trying to achieve through this, the 10-12 weeks that we're going to be spending together. And we looked at some key elements, right, in terms of preparing you guys for becoming investor ready, right? And one of the core thing is for you guys to be able to demonstrate that you guys have a really deep understanding of the customer's problem, right? And that's why last week we covered jobs to be done and how it's a unique way to look at your app. Instead of looking at it as features, you're looking at it as what is the job that I'm helping my customers to do, right? And using that methodology to go and interview your customers and really understand their journey with that. And then one of the second main component, as you can see on the top right, is like, understanding the market size, the clear market size, and what your position is amongst all the competitors that's there. So this week, that's what we're going to be focusing on. So Irene will be running most of the session today on running surveys to uncover some of these customer needs and doing competitor analysis. I'm going to be using AI, ChatGPT AI. I'm not sure how many of you have used AI so far in your business, but it's just super powerful. So I'll just do a little demo of what you can achieve with AI in terms of competitor research. So yeah, before I hand it over to Irene, maybe has anyone gone out and done some customer interviews using jobs to be done? Has anyone booked meetings with your potential clients? I would love to hear from you guys if anyone was able to make any progress with that.
Yeah, with me, mate, I tried to get some interviews done this week, but I didn't have much luck with time and people getting called out and all that sort of stuff. So I based mine around the occupational health and safety with roadworks, and our non-negotiables are quite obviously safety and compliance. So yeah, based on that, I've come across literature that describes a international effort to try and fix some of the problems with roadworks right around the world. So it's not just Australia that we're having problems in; it's an international problem. So yeah, I have found some literature about that as well. And say me pushes and pulls are all revolved around safety and compliance, actually.
Sure. Have you reached out to anyone about setting up an interview, Nathan? Yeah.
Yes, mate. Yeah. So I've reached out to Graham. I was hoping to achieve that over the weekend, but Graham actually runs a business of traffic control and training. So yeah, due to time constraints and call outs has been one of my biggest issues with just trying to find time with traffic controllers, Yeah, but yeah, it was a little bit more difficult to achieve than I was thinking it may be.
Okay. Yeah, you might have to reach out to quite a few people, before you can, book at least 3 meetings. So yeah, maybe work on that again this week. I would love you to be able to set up at least 3 interviews, and we would love to come and join one of those interviews. Anyone else? Philly, Liza, are you guys able to set up any customer interviews at all?
Yes, I was able to set up an interview with one of my friends who is, he's currently partnered, who he met off Bumble, and I just interviewed him based off his experience on Bumble as well as his motivations for joining the app. He was also on a couple of other apps before that, and I didn't mention about my app being for single parents because he was a parent when he was on these apps. I didn't mention that because I didn't want any unconscious bias in his answers. And before he met his current partner, he was having trouble with speaking to people because as soon as they found out that he was a parent, they would block him and they didn't want to talk to him anymore. And I asked in a hypothetical situation if he split up with his partner now, what he would like, if he would go back into the dating world, and he said no. And I, prodded about that. And he was like, because I don't want to go through that experience again of just being rejected by being a parent. So then I led into the app being for around single parents. And he mentioned that if that was an option, if he was willing to, date again sort of thing, he would be wanting to go on something like that because he would be around people that are like-minded and he wouldn't have to deal with that that bias that people have about parents with dating.
Yeah. And were you able to uncover from the context of jobs to be done, understand his push and his pull and what's his, current habits that's stopping him from making a change? Did you ask any questions specifically around that? Were you able to uncover any of that in your interview?
Yeah. So I've completely forgotten the whole push-pull thing, but yeah, he definitely had the motivation, like when he was on these apps, when he was on Bumble, he definitely had the motivations to find a partner as he was lonely, but he had the reservations and anxieties because being a parent, it's not just about you, you've got dependents as well, and bringing someone else into that equation was quite scary for him. So he sort of was in this impasse really, where he was wanting to talk to people, but he was scared to really open up and date people because of his parental status.
Okay. So you're able to uncover some of that. You didn't you weren't able to go into depth of that, but you were able to uncover some of that in terms of the jobs to be done framework itself.
Yeah, just because of the time restraint with the interview, I wasn't able to go into a complete deep dive on his motivations and his psychological thought behind it, but certainly got some good insights from it.
Awesome. And I think part of this interview is to kind of find people who have done the switch to at least similar solutions. And did you say is there any dating app for single parents at the moment, or for parents or kids friendly?
Not currently in the Australian market. There are two available in America, but one isn't popular at all because it's full of bot profiles. And the other one, the other one is a bit more highly regarded in their audience. It's just not available outside of the US.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, interviewing one of them or a few of them would be amazing too, to understand the experience with those apps. And we'll cover a bit about how we can potentially survey those people, who have used the app in a similar space, right? That's what.
Yeah, how would I go about finding those people to interview? That's the thing.
We'll cover that. So Irene will be covering that today. So we'll be talking about surveys and also how to go and reach out to those people, mainly using social media groups, Reddit, a lot of publicly available information where you can go and reach out to those people.
I'll cover all of that, Eliza. Don't worry, by the end of this session, you'll know exactly where to find them, okay?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Awesome. And Feely, anything from your side? Are you able to do any interviews?
Unfortunately, no, I didn't get any time. Whenever I did get time, the people that I did book, they didn't have time at the time as well. So, which kind of delayed a little bit and didn't get the chance to do so.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. I think if you guys can prioritize that over this week, you're gonna get some tasks to do following this week in terms of creating your survey and doing some analysis. But I think you have lag now. I would love you guys to set up at least 3 meetings before next week, and we would love to join one of those meetings. We can really demonstrate that meeting, that jobs to be done interview for you guys. So if you can please prioritize that, that would be awesome. Yeah. So from here, I would love to hand over to Irene to cover the topic around surveys and competitive research, and then I'll come back in the middle again to run through ChatGPT and how you could use that for some of this work. So Irene, off to you.
Great.
You say ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already got that. Yeah.
You got that. Awesome.
Everyone's got ChatGPT?
Sorry, what was that?
Everyone on this call, have you all used ChatGPT?
Once before, yes.
Good, good. Because I think it's kind of...
Yes, I used it when I first met Zane and was first starting this. I actually downloaded that Chat GPT to learn and to make a decision on whether to go ahead with this app. So without the AI GTP or GPT, whatever it is, I probably wouldn't have gone forward. So
no, you guys have
yeah,
to
I
go
really
forward.
see
I've
the
looked at
asset
your
there.
ideas, and I think that they need to exist in this world. So this session today is about market research, sizing and analysis, and we've done the recap. This is basically the agenda. I have emailed you, or rather not, I've sent you Slack messages to your own personal Miro boards so that you can start putting out your ideas, and think of Miro as this endless whiteboard that you can take everywhere with you, because wherever you have a laptop, a phone, a tablet, your whiteboard's with you, and it's huge. So that's a great place to start throwing your ideas. I've also, in this session, we'll go through customer research with user surveys. Now, the difference with surveys to interviews is you're going to get more reach. You can have those surveys once set up running and capture as many respondents and responses as you can. I'll also go through market research, competitor analysis, substitutes, alternatives, as well as thinking about those partners. They may help you. So regulators, stakeholders, you talked about the training company, Nathan. I'm thinking for the single parent app, there's like Relationships Australia. There's a whole lot of bodies that could help you. I'll also go through market sizing, and we'll go through a little bit of homework. So this is me. I've been in product, marketing, pricing strategy in businesses as Telstra, Optus, Virgin. So my background's psychology originally, and then I did business and technology, and my MBA through AGSN at University of New South Wales, which I currently do some teaching through. So I teach on product strategy and pricing strategy. And the things that I've done in the past is launched game-changing products, like the very first phone with an app store, where everyone was like, what? No one wants an app store, right? No, surely nobody wants an app store on the phone. I was like, I don't think so. So people lined up overnight for this device down George Street, and I was just shocked. I was like, people are sleeping out overnight for a device. The first time I've ever seen this. And then obviously iPhone happened, and the rest is history. I also did data gifting, which was created as a viral product within Virgin Mobile, and it just went word of mouth. People loved the product, and it just grew. Customers, revenue. It was actually really quite cool. I was also head of product at a fintech, an AI investment app, so dabbled into AI, and I also did my own direct-to-consumer e-commerce brand. You can find me at Applemate. That's my email address. I'm also on LinkedIn, and you can also book my time, so we can actually work on your idea. But first, what I want to orient you around is this Miro, because if you haven't, has anyone used Miro before?
No,
Yes?
this is the first time. No.
First time? Was that fairly?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to blow your mind, because the first time I used Miro, I was like, what? You mean COVID lockdown, we can still all collaborate globally, and this whiteboard follows me everywhere I go? This is epic, guys. I'm never going back. So I will show you how to use Miro. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Do you see the Miro board?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone will have a Miro board, and I've emailed it to you. I put it in the Slack. And what's really cool about it is you can fly around with a hand. You can, now, for example, you can, let's see, I'm going to go back out, because this is the prompt you board, but I will show you how to use these things. From here, you can select things. From here, you can add templates, text, sticky notes. This is where you're going to live. You click on that, pick your color, drop it in, and type. So you can add to your board. You can also double click. So if you're creating a process, like for example, you want to know what customers are doing today, step 1, step 2, you could actually map it along and type in there, right? You can make comments. I don't think this is right. This doesn't sound right. You can tag it. You can do a few things. You can add frames, which is kind of nice. I want to create a frame because I want to house everything I learn about competitors. Competitors' pricing, for example. Like I was looking at dating apps are a huge thing. Eliza, what do people pay for them today? What did you find out from your friend?
Yeah, so the average is, I think, about, like, they have a few payment plans sort of thing, but average out about $40 a month.
Really? Does it include anything? Have you learned about what they include, what they don't, each dating app?
Yes. So different apps have different sort of features that they have, but usually like the free version is pretty general in where you can just sort of like swipe and just talk to people. But with the added on subscriptions, you know, you can like see who likes you, you can sort of you can super like people, and you can put your profile in as a spotlight so people see you first, like sort of these little things just to make you stand out a bit more.
So there is a free component. So there'll be a percentage of the base that are always free.
Yes.
Okay. And there's a percent that will pay.
Yes.
That'll be interesting to unpack later to understand what is the profile of a user who'll pay, a profile of a user who won't pay, what's their jobs to be done. So that's the idea. The other cool thing about Miro is you can add links, right? You can add whatever, which is kind of nice. You can format it, you can add author, show the author, which is nice. So if you're collaborating with someone, you go, where did that post-it note come from? Where did that idea come from? That's the idea. You can add tags. All right, this is about pricing, right? Add a color to the tag, and make that gray, create. Okay, so then you can always find tags. You can also search through here. Where was that thing because did I show you how big this board is, guys? I did say it was endless, right? There's so many things in the board that you can add. And when you zoom out, you can see all these things. So it's actually really quite cool what you can do. You can collaborate with a timer. You can have voting. So there's quite a few cool things. And if you like it all, let's do a reaction. That's awesome. Okay, so it's quite fun. You can do quite a few things, but what you will see in your boards is we've mapped it out with a few things. There's a little bit of background you can fill in. There is information in there about how to unpack an idea. I live for this because your ideas should exist. So there's a few ways to do it. There's things in here about getting to product market fit, understanding your persona. There's all these things. If you want to dive into that, you don't need to, because we've kind of done this for you. Week 1, we talked about what is your target customer, how are they solving the problem. So if you haven't already kind of mapped through what people are doing today, that whole end-to-end experience, they can find the friction. Then we had the customer research. So this is a lot of the stuff that Bharath went through last week, right? The script that was created. That's the other thing. This is a document that was embedded in here. So just think of it as this whiteboard. You put post-it notes. It's physically, you know, old school whiteboards. You put post-it, maybe you pinned a document. It's the same sort of thing. We've pinned images in here. You can do that. Some of these images can have links. So that's quite cool. And this week, we're up to customer research and user stories. So, you know, we're looking at
for a second, Irene.
Yeah.
In the week 2, guys, if you go up to week 2, So where we have the jobs to be done note section as the last document. So whenever you guys are doing interviews, you can basically add, your post-it notes of whatever push, whatever pull you're discovering in your interviews, just add a post-it note and keep adding it there, right? And the most important part of this whiteboard is collaboration, right? As soon as you add it, me and Irene can see it. When we have ideas, we add our ideas, and we're all collaborating on the same whiteboard. Yeah, we're all sitting in our own home, but we all have a shared whiteboard we are working on. So that's what this is for. So yeah, so when you do the interviews for jobs to be done, I would love you guys to put your notes somewhere here, or if you wish, you can download it and type it in as well. But it'll be great to start using the Miro board to start sharing our thoughts and our research. Thanks, Erin.
Okay.
That's there. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I will go back to the slides. That was our Miro board. But let's get into customer research with user surveys. Now, why create a survey? Basically, you want to get to ask as many potential users as possible so you can get to hundreds of responses. Your aim in the survey is to ask about the problem, the job, what is it that customers want to solve? What is their most painful problem? And you want to get to that. So it's kind of understanding, what are they doing today? How big is the problem today? Are they actually trying to solve it themselves? Because if they're actually trying to solve it themselves and it's, sticky taping multiple different solutions together to try and solve it themselves, you know that there is a problem here. And you can optimize, make it better with a digital app experience. So it's kind of you want to understand what they're doing today to solve this problem in terms of how much time it takes them, what it costs them, and the job they're hiring something to solve. But you want to also understand from their perspective who they see as the alternatives or the competitors or what else they would do. So that's that. What do they think is the substitutes that they would use? Find out what they like and they don't like about the current experience. There's a lot of opportunity there to go deep and go, oh, actually, there's 10 different, the survey's gone to 100 people, 50 of them all came back and said the same thing. I don't like that the current experience is XYZ. So that's an opportunity. And you want to find out what they're currently paying. So that average $40 a month, you said, Eliza, that's really valuable to know. And it's also important to try and understand what is it that made them go from a free user to a paying user and paying that $40 a month. So thinking that through, that would be amazing through these surveys. So as I said, you get hundreds of responses if you drop it and share it in the right places. They can be used to show demand. You'll understand who the competitors are, understand pricing. And above all else, we can take all of this, put it in our financial model and go, actually, this is how big this opportunity is. This is how many will be willing to pay. The good news is it's really easy to set up these surveys. Google Forms is free. You can set that up. No one's going to charge you, which is amazing. And it's got some great functionality. I'll show you how. Now, a couple of years ago, I was similar where you are. I was at I think an accelerator, and I was looking at an idea. And my idea was around, how do I help people build a new home? I created a survey on Google Forms. I started it with a bit of an introduction about the purpose of the survey. And then I had a section about you. I had a few things. But what's really cool about Google Forms is you can get this visual data, which will be great if you're needing to use this to pitch for investment, VC funding. That's going to be very powerful to say, it's not just me that thinks this is a great idea. Look, I have 100 people all who completed this survey, and this is what they're all saying. So that's really valuable. The rest of the stuff, how did you find your builder? What were the reasons you chose your builder? What would you pay to be able to ask anything? So the concept was around asking someone who's already built advice so that you could, I guess, kind of social proof the experience of building a home. How long did it take to find a builder? So there's a lot of this sort of data. And if you get that pricing information, which is valuable too, because in your head you'll be going, actually, the average price everyone's paying is about $40 a month. Maybe I should charge $39 a month, and I just go underneath and people will just buy it but then you're like going, you're just playing the numbers game. When we talk about pricing next week, we'll talk about value. And finally, Eliza, you talked about, where do I share this survey? Where are these people who will complete my survey? So this is a little bit more of a creative, try and work out where your target customer is currently. Facebook groups. I'm sure that there are a lot of Facebook groups of single parents. Facebook groups of, you know, who, for example, Feli, your customers, is there a Facebook group which they exist in? So thinking about,
sorry, continue.
yeah, is there a Facebook community, or is there anywhere where they exist already?
There should be some. Yeah, I just got to market my platform on those pages. That's all.
Yeah, so it's kind of in this part, it's kind of thinking creatively about who your customer is and where do they hang out.
Yes.
And so they could be online in a Facebook group, in a Reddit group. Maybe you already know them because you've come from that industry. You have like a list of people's phone numbers, email addresses that you can engage and ask them to complete your survey. You may be thinking, maybe it's like, what's another group? A library group, a church community group, just thinking about creatively where you might find these people.
Okay.
And then it's also about, you don't just want to send them a survey, you want to politely ask them to complete the survey and do it in a way so that it is them helping themselves. Because if it's a painful enough problem, they want to complete your survey because it will solve a problem for themselves. You'll create a product that will solve some pain or frustration or a job that they have difficulty solving themselves. And you can, once you know these communities, you can share the survey, drop it widely, and do that without putting advertising spend against it. Or you could put ad spend, up to you. But you could start actually finding out this data without paying, which is kind of nice. Back to my building example, you know, when I looked up back then, you know, building new homes in Sydney, there was 44,000 members on a Facebook group. There was another group, New Home Building Q&A, which was global. They had 67,000 members. I only need about 100 people to complete a survey. Those are good numbers, right? Reddit also has their own groups, and they've got over 100,000 members in that area. So it's like just thinking through, where do these people hang out? Now, when I first was looking at this, I was looking at, and it's a shame Russell's right here. So Russell, when you see this on recording, the first thing I did was look at creating a draft survey. To give you an example, and I looked at child safety. So the sections in the survey is, well, the first section is really just that introduction, explaining your purpose. And then there would be a section about you, understanding the user, about their problem. And then that section about the solution is not talking about, would you buy my product? It's more about talking about validating things that you're not sure if they would value. So you may have an experience or a feature or some assumption that you've made in your app that you want to validate that they will actually use, right? And that's the kind of flow, but I will show you the template, for example. I created a template. You'd start with the name of the problem. Don't talk about your solution because you don't want to bias, which is really important on the whole jobs to be done. You want to start with a bit of a story. So this one was taken from the child safety. You know the feeling in a busy shopping centre or event when your child goes missing. You never want this to happen, but if it does, you want to find them as quickly as possible. That's the story. And then you back that up with data. So the story is that emotional story. Data. Globally, 8 million children go missing every year. In Australia, that's 20,000 children. In the US, it's 800,000. And in the UK, over 110,000. Not every child has a mobile phone you can call them on. Help us solve this problem. So then you're kind of asking for help. And then you introduce yourself. As part of a startup accelerator, we're looking to understand the experience of, explain the problem, with a view to solving this problem. Any information or feedback you provide here may help create a better experience for describe that user, whether it's parent, a guardian, if it's sports, maybe it's for the fans, if it's for, you know, just think about who they are, who find themselves in the situation. And then please provide your name, email address, and number at the end if you can provide more advice on potential solutions. Because what you'll find is people will start with a survey and then towards the end go, actually, I've got more to tell you. I'm happy for you to call me. I'm happy for you to interview me. So that's really valuable because you can get more interviews and more insight that way. About you, the next section is very much about a few questions to understand them. For this scenario is, are you a parent or a guardian? And so it's kind of really understanding their profile, identify their user profile. Where are they based? You can have how many children you're responsible for, so it goes on. About the problem, this is to understand the problem and the experience. Have they actually found themselves in the situation? When? What happened? So you want them to tell you that story, because then it's actually their feedback in the survey is rooted in actual experience. It's not hypothetical. So you kind of want to do that. And then map through, what are they doing today? What did you do? Where did you lose a child? What did you do? How long did it? So get them to start telling the story about the solution. This is about validating what's most to least valuable. How easy was it to access and share your child's information at the time to help with the search? 1 being very easy, 5 being really hard. So it's because this is solving the problem of having that information, photos, etc. And lastly, this section is the same for everyone. So you could literally just copy and paste this section in your survey. Next steps is thanking them for the survey. Would you be willing to be contacted if we have any more questions? And this is about them saying yes or no, adding their details. And lastly, and this is really important, don't forget this question, is there anyone else we should speak to about this problem? So this is valuable because you may know one person, but they may know 10 others. Right, so you kind of want to grow that. Now, I'll go back. You will have gotten your Miro boards message to you. You will have also gotten a template, Google Sheets, which is pretty basic. Underneath is a customer survey in the tabs, competitor analysis, partners, and market sizing. Everything we're talking about today so far. This is really valuable. And the reason I put it in Excel is just so you can, well, firstly, write down your ideas on the questions before we put them into Google Forms for the survey. But it's also really nice to get your market sizing, and then you can do the calculations in Excel. Then you can actually link this. This is actually linked in your Miro document anyway. So back to the slides. One thing I do want to say is with creating the survey, ChatGPT can be a really helpful starting point, but you need to be able to prompt it well about the problem, the sections, and get it to ask you questions now. And you can start with ChatGPT on your first draft of the questions. Now, mind you, you don't want to have the survey to be too long because you're going to lose interest. People will just drop off. You want to be really succinct on the questions that you ask, so they need to be important. Any questions? No?
No, nothing yet.
Cool. So do you guys want to, if you have access to ChatGPT, or if you have a doc, do you want to start writing some of the questions down? You can write them in your Google Sheets that I emailed you, or just write them on a notepad.
Can we all just check if you've got the access to that sheet, guys? Maybe
Yes.
check your email and see if you got the invite.
Yep, received it.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. So do you want to take a short break now to start? Well, two things for you to think about. What questions you want asked that you want to validate about the problem and about the user. And second, where could you share this survey? So Eliza, that could be like a search or on your Facebook and look for those Facebook groups. And you said that the only similar product that you've seen was an American dating app, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So maybe what you could look for is single parents in the US. There could be a Facebook group. What's really valuable about these groups also is joining them and just observing first to see what people are talking about. So you guys happy to do a 10-minute go through, think about this survey, write a few questions down where you may share the survey, and you can write your thoughts in the Google Sheets or on Miro? Where would you be most comfortable?
Excuse me. Can I excuse me? I'm not feeling real great. Oh,
Sorry, Nathan, did you say you're not feeling great? You need to excuse yourself for the session? That's what I say?
yeah, mate. I'm feeling very unwell.
That's okay.
I can't.
Of course.
Yeah, I just can't concentrate.
That's right.
Of
We'll
course.
send you the recordings for the things that you've missed there, Streety. You look after yourself, all right?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, guys. Yeah, I think I've had something bad to eat. It's just making me not good.
Oh, sorry to hear this, really. Yeah, take care. Rest.
Best of luck, mate.
Rest. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Rest.
Thank
We
you
can
so
have
much.
another separate session with you, and we can go through some of these one-on-one as well.
Much appreciated, mate. I'm really sorry about this. Yeah.
You can find some time with me as well after you sort of see the recordings, and we can work together, Nathan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Once again, guys, sorry. I'm really unwell.
Good luck, mate.
Oh.
We'll speak to you next time.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. I'll watch the recording in a while.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See ya. Oh.
All right. So I guess is it just Philly and Eliza?
Philly and Eliza.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Do you guys want to start thinking about your survey and writing a few questions down, and then also looking at where you might share your survey?
My survey is a bit tricky. I can easily share it on Facebook group chats or go to communities and have it people do it. But even when I share it to them, most of them won't do the survey because they will look at it like, oh, it's too complicated, it's too long.
No. This isn't about sharing
Okay.
it right now. This is about planning it, planning places where you might need to share it, where you could share it. But
I've got heaps of places I work at. I can share in heaps of like group chats, like you said. We do heaps of community group chats, and we also have heaps of like communities come in and communities doing events as well. Also at the shop where I work as a grocery store, where I can also have it there as well to, get the survey across in a way. But for people to take time to do a survey, that's going to be the issue that what I'm facing.
so you have an existing customer base then, so that's actually amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Eliza, I reckon it's just a simple search. I think it's a Facebook group situation for you. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've requested to join a few.
Yeah.
So
good.
Just waiting for responses from that. But yeah, then I'll be able to put my survey in that. And yeah, I guess like it'll definitely be probably Reddit as well as Facebook for the US ones, because I think some of them like check your location and stuff on Facebook. So I might not have too much luck on Facebook, but certainly Reddit will be helpful for the US.
Yeah. I mean, when you do get in, have a look around, like just observe what's the discussion first. So you can see how many people are actually even talking about this. And and you might just look at, I mean, I guess for you, you'd be looking at dating groups and also just parenting groups, single parenting groups.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's valuable. I
Is your, just quickly on that as well, Eliza, is your competitor, are they big, or like the app that you said in the US? What's their name?
Called Stir, right?
Yeah, Stir and Encore.
Stir's
Yeah.
owned by Match.com.
Yeah, great. So yeah, if they're like, another thing we could do, like in terms of exactly reaching their customers, you basically in Reddit, in Quora, you could search the name of the competitor, right? And see like what conversations, there are always people complaining about it, or you know, saying great
absolutely.
things about it.
Yeah, that's a good, I always forget about Quora. That's a good idea.
So another thing that I just saw as part of the reviews in terms of Stir was actually the things that we went through live in terms of like filtering. One of the main complaints is they couldn't filter out profiles on specific like smoking, for example.
Actually, with that, maybe we should go on to our next section, competitor market research.
Yeah, I was just want to stop at Philly for a second too, just to make sure I got what he said. Philly, you said you already tried surveying and no one was responding to that? Is that what you were saying before? We couldn't hear
No,
you.
I haven't tried to survey particularly. I'm just like trying to market the platform on community facing markets that I know of, and also some like in the store, like people trying to scan the QR code. But getting people to do so, we just seem to be
yeah. So I guess, you know, for your case, Philly, like, you know, I recognize you already have a marketplace, right? You already have a website. People can order grocery there. But the reason why you're doing this, you know, this survey and the customer interviews is you don't have to go and rebuild everything you already got, but you're going to get a lot of clarity on your messaging. Right? Like when you market, what are you going to say? Like you can simply say as a grocery ordering platform, right? It could be as simple as that, right? But it might be hard for you to connect with your customers, right? You got to look at how you're going to, what exactly is going on in their life that you can, you know, talk to. Like what is the main problem that you can talk to in your marketing, in your messaging? That's what you're going to uncover in these surveys. You know, if I'm not wrong, like what I'm hearing from you is, why do I need surveys? I'm actually past that. So I don't have to do surveys. I don't have to do interviews, right? But if you think about like the jobs to be done and all the push and pull we talked about last week, if you understand that, then you can focus on, okay, what is the most important feature that's gonna, you know, deliver the jobs that I'm solving? What is the main problem or aspect of the customer journey within the ordering grocery that my product is, you know, based upon? So you're going to be getting a lot of that information that's used for both marketing and also in deciding like what to work and what not to work on when it comes to your product. Yeah, maybe like talk to me a little bit about like if you feel like you already got the product, other than like it being a grocery delivery platform, what else do you know about your, you know, Irene, if you have a couple of minutes, can we spend this with Philly?
Yeah.
Because I'm hearing from him, he doesn't have to do interviews because he's, you know.
No, I'm not saying I don't have to do interview. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I know the community kind of like this platform. If I do the survey and chuck it in there, most of them are going to press it. They're going to see so much process of steps to fill out. They're just going to be like, oh, no, I ain't got time, and just leave it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, your concern is people won't fill it, right? And and even if like, you know, 1%, 2%, 5% of the people who see it fill it, that's what we are going for, right? So when you share it and there are 1,000 people seeing it, and even if 5 people, 10 people respond to that, and we're going to share it with enough people to see at least a handful of people have responded to that. I'm not sure, Irene, if you want to add anything to that concern of people not filling the survey.
Fairly, do you feel like they're not going to complete the survey because it takes too long, or I actually don't have this problem, or what do you think is holding them back from completing a simple survey if we keep it really short?
Sorry, if you keep, maybe possibly, because I haven't done this, I haven't fixed up the survey yet, but in my head, usually from previous, before I try getting people to do Google review on those platforms, no one done it. I try getting people to do certain like a review back in such a way they don't do it, just look at it and just get out of it. I was like, okay.
So the difference on that one, Billy, I'll just jump in. The difference in terms of doing a review versus doing a survey is that a review is in the service. Sorry, it is for the business itself, right? It's basically to flex on the business. Whereas actually doing a survey will actually allow them to show improvement to the business. So there's actually, and what's in it for the customer is that their experience that they share with you via that survey is going to improve the business rather than doing a review. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, 100%. I'm not denying the survey at all. I know the powerfulness behind it. So if everyone does it, the answer behind it will help tremendously of the app to move forward. But what I'm just saying, like doing it, just people probably won't do it. But like you said, one or two, that can still help for sure.
I think it's how we message the survey, the purpose of it. And it's not about helping. You never talk about it as helping my business, help me make money. No. You want to talk about it as how it solves a problem. Help me understand the problem so I can solve it better than anyone else for you. So it saves pain for you. And so it's kind of like you want to message it. You have that message at the top of the survey explaining it, but also wherever you share the survey, you want to preface it with, I've seen this as a problem and I think this is a problem I should solve, but do you think this is a problem? Help me solve this. How big is this problem? So focusing it on the problem, not about the solution or the business value. You know what I mean?
I get that.
I'd like to ask you a question as well, Irene, who's done this a fair bit. Offering something like the chance to go into running for a $50 Cosmo gift card or something like that. Do you think that that's a viable option to be able to get more?
Yes, I've done that. So if you're not, so what I would start with is doing the survey without that carrot. But if they're delaying and no one's actually completing the survey, then have that complete the survey and for your chance to win a, I don't know, Amazon voucher or whatever. Right, but it has to be something that they value. So if you know your audience, and you know, for fairly, maybe it's like you win a voucher to shop at, you know, because you already have a business, right? Yeah. So something that is perceived as valuable for them, it's valued at $100 for them, but for you, it's only valued at like your cost price, whatever it is, right?
Okay, that could work. Yeah. Okay.
That could be really powerful, especially for your audience, because they're already, then you're attracting the people who are interested in that, right?
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Really, like if I you know dig a little bit as well, like you know with the problem you're solving, you know my understanding is you're focusing on like African groceries, right? That's your focus at the moment, right?
That's correct. Yes.
So the jobs to be done or the problem you're solving is being able to get, you know, like African groceries that's not otherwise easy to get, or how would you describe the key jobs to be done for you? Like what is going on in the customer's life that you're solving with your app?
Well, our first what's it called, Zoom meeting, the task to give us regarding the job to do. I did do that one regarding how a family would go about the normal day to get their grocery to their doorstep or to get a grocery and cook, and also if my platform came along to fix that issue, what the step and what all that I did all that already. So I can forward you that, you can go through that.
So that's okay. We don't have to go through that, but in one line, if you describe it as just one sentence job to be done. Are you just saying it's about just making the buying grocery process easier? Like, is it the problem that you're solving?
I would say the main nugget of it is just finding your ingredients easier, because some certain spicy you can't find it here. You need to get it authentic. You have to get it overseas to bring it in. When you bring it in, only certain stores that might be around, you don't know where to find them. Yes.
Yeah. So it's about like finding like unique items that's not easy to find. So making it easy to find any ingredients they want.
Correct.
Right. Yes. So if you think about then what kind of Facebook group would have members that are facing that problem, right? Maybe there are like African cooking groups, right? Where people are learning about African cooking, right? That might be the people who are actually looking at that specific problem, right? Like now we are growing beyond I'm a grocery delivery app to, okay, my problem is my customer are trying to find ingredients, they're trying to cook, They're trying to find these unique African ingredients, and they can't just go to Safeway and buy that. They can't just go to the what's the very popular grocery delivery platform that we have, Instacart in America. They can't go to the regular thing and find these ingredients. They need to go somewhere special to be able to find these ingredients. If that's the key problem you're solving, then you go and find Facebook groups where people are actually, for example, like I said, they're learning African cooking, right? Or they are cooking enthusiasts, or people who want to, cook unique African food at their home. Like if you find more groups are there, then you go and put a preface, like Irene said, hey, I want to help people find products easily and cheaply, like the best price and the quick way, right? And I want to interview you guys in terms of where you find your products, how easy it is, how difficult it is. That's what you're trying to uncover from these surveys.
But food is really powerful, right? Because we have emotional connections and memories with food. So it could be like this, it's coming up to a special event and there's this special dish that you always make, but there is this certain ingredient you can't find. And that's so hard to find. You have to like drive 2 hours somewhere to meet someone to find this ingredient. Like it's ridiculous, right? So you talk about it from, like in the child safety, we talked about this emotional story. You want to say, remember when it was such and such and you needed to make this dish and your mother-in-law was coming over and you wanted to impress and you needed to find this ingredient. Let me solve this problem. Tell me what you're doing today. And that is talking about the problem. That is looking at not help me sell something, but I want to help you get access to this because right now maybe it takes you too long to find it. It's hard to get, it takes, hours to find the ingredient, it takes long to get it shipped to you because it comes from interstate or wherever. So thinking through that journey, I think that'd be really exciting. Maybe put some time with me, Fairly. We can, I haven't actually met you face to face, so we can work this one out. I think that's really powerful.
Most definitely, we'll love that.
So what I might go to now is the market research. Competitors, alternatives, and substitutes. Now, competition is a good thing. A lot of the times we might look at competition and go, oh, someone's already solved this, we don't want to do this. But hey, competition is a good thing because, it's nice to have valid competition. It pushes you to do better. And the infamous Gianni Versace said this, so he can't be wrong. And it's important because if there is competition, it means there is a market. It means someone's figured out there is actually a problem here to solve. So when we start thinking about competition, we need to do a little bit of research. Thinking about the company, on the company side, you want to just start mapping out who your competitors are, identify them, and identify them. I bring up competitive analysis after we do our customer interviews and customer surveys because you want to do this from your customer's perspective, like who are the alternatives that they're thinking about, not who you think are the competitors. And so you want to identify who your competitors are, what are the, from your customer perspective, who else they considered, what are the products they tried, liked, didn't like, what was about the experience, and look at publicly available market information. So go to their websites. Do a Google search, market share. Even go to ChatGPT first and go, hey, I've described this product. Who are the competitors in this market? And you'll get a list. Although when you look at ChatGPT, do a second check to make sure it hasn't made up a competitor or made something up or made up a number. That it's trying to please you. So it's trying to give you as much information as you is thinking it's pleasing you as opposed to 100% accuracy. So I would look at publicly available information. You have your ChatGPT, you have your Google search, you look at their website, you look at their social media, you look at the comments in the social media about what people are saying about them. You look at their app store, you look at the comments in the app store, what's bubbling up to the surface. If they're a publicly listed company, you can go dive into their annual reports. There's a lot of gems in there about what their strategy is, what are they going after, what are they making, what's their profit. There's also Crunchbase, Pitchboard, all of that. I'd also conduct a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. And this is about looking at what what is it that they have? Do they have patents? Do they have, what's their market share? How big is their brand awareness? Like how many followers? I mean, these are a bit vanity metrics, but it gives you a bit of an impression. How long have they been around in the market? Do people trust them? And what is their resourcing like? So when I look at SWOT, I look at the internal side, and you can do this for yourself as well, right? The internal from within their organization, what is their strengths, there's capability, market share, partnerships. Look at partnerships. Are there any strategic partnerships that they have? Or don't, which is also a great opportunity for you, right? Internal weaknesses, well, poor customer satisfaction. It could be in the App Store, there's a lot more complaints about their product. Or there could be in the App Store, this is what people really love about it. So there could be things in there, bad publicity, anything else that you can find in the public forum, you can see through strengths and weaknesses. And you want to see, especially on the weakness side, if they have any blind spots or gaps that they're not solving. Like, for example, Kelly, Coles doesn't have all those ingredients, but Coles has a big brand. But the gap is they don't have the ingredients that are needed in the African spices and whatever, right? And it's a gap that it's a blind spot. Why haven't they picked it up? And the fact that they're not paying attention is a great opportunity for you, right? On the bottom end, opportunities and threats. So their weakness about Coles not picking up these specific ingredients will become a strength for you, because you could be the only place you can find these. Opportunities and threats are things that are outside the environment, which will impact not just your competitors, but also yourself. So opportunities are there, strategic relationships that you may secure that they haven't. You want to jump on. Opportunities with regulatory partners that could benefit. Look at opportunities that will benefit. These opportunities benefit both your product and your competitor products, but only if you actually act on them. And they may not have noticed. So that is the strategic opportunity, right? And threats are things like upcoming obstacles. Maybe there is like a global delivery issues like we had during COVID that threatened, say, in the car market, you couldn't get a new car because they couldn't ship them to Australia. The manufacturing plants weren't making them as quickly, or they had to go into lockdown. So those things were like threats. And so that pushed up prices of used cars. So these are kind of things that are happening outside in the economy that kind of you're looking at. I want to just pause here because there was an example. I worked a couple of years ago with a drone AI company, and they, an example, the US Federal Aviation Authority had gone to them and asked them to create an app so that people that wanted to fly drones could look up the rules of flying within the US and allow drone pilots to check the rules before they plan to fly. Now, this request was open to anyone, any drone provider, your competitors, them, everyone. And they could apply on behalf of the government to create this app. The catch was the government wasn't planning to pay for this build. So the regulatory authority, the Federal Aviation Authority, FAA, wasn't going to pay for it. As a result, the company I was consulting with, they had decided to turn down the work. So this is a country with 336 million people. How many of them fly drones? You could have made a name for yourself. 2 years later, the company that did create the Before You Fly app got to have their name associated with a regulatory authority. So now, hey, I'm trusted. I've been anointed. There's this halo. And because of that, they got trust from pilots. Pilots tried the free app, knew it was powered by this competitor. And then it gave them brand awareness, trust. And when they wanted to be able to request approval to fly, they upgraded from the freemium, they upgraded to the paid version with this competitor app. And the opportunity for my client at the time didn't look like an opportunity to them, because when it was presented 2 years ago, it was, hey, build us a free app. They didn't look at the upside and that opportunity and that capturing that market share. But 2 years later, it was too late for them to do anything, right? So these things, a huge opportunity. So you kind of need to pay attention. And this could be really valuable when reviewing alternatives, for example, for streetwise, and understanding the role of the regulatory body there. Now, this is really important, deep diving on the competitor product experience, how the competitors, like what a customer needs to do to sign up, to purchase, to experience the product, what's payment like, what's shipping like, what's every stage of that customer journey like. Kind of looking at the usability, looking at the features and inclusions, and any support. When things go wrong, what happens? Do they ignore you? There's no phone number? Are you on your own? Or do they jump on it, solve the problem, make it a stronger relationship? And then also look at pricing and offers. How do they price this product? Are there any offers? Do they have exclusive membership benefits? Do they have any strategic partnerships that they've wrapped together? And any channels to market that are a real differentiator? I'm thinking, you know, jumping on things like, you know, shopping through TikTok. That's something that Coles hasn't even thought about, right? So that might be opportunity there. But you have to think about strategically, is my customer base over on TikTok? Because I should only be playing in that space if my target market's there. So thinking about things like that. And also think about your competitor's story. How are they messaging their product, and what is the customer perception? So this is a lot about looking at their website, seeing the language that they're using, seeing how they're posting on social media, any press releases, and generally how they're positioning their product. Is it a functional positioning, or is it an emotional job? You know what I mean? Because if you hit the emotional tones, you get loyal, you get more of a strong following than if you're saying, I functionally deliver this product. If you're thinking, I'm solving Thanksgiving, or I'm solving the problem of, you know, I'm connecting families. That's an emotional connection, and people get behind that. I mean, when the iPhone first launched, honestly, there were other products that had more functionality. But the emotional experience of how easy it was to use, and also connecting people and all of this, that got a whole following. People slept out overnight to get these devices. So thinking about that emotional piece. And also when you look at your competitors, thinking about what are their customers talking, saying, complaining about them. They're going to be talking in Reddit, Quora, Facebook groups, wherever. They're going to be talking in the App Store reviews. They're going to be looking, if they've got a complaint, they're going to be, you know, one quick tweet away, you can find it. So understanding what they're saying, what are they saying about those products? What are they talking about? You can interview their customers, which is what you should be doing. Survey their customers. So mind you, all of this is actually on that Miro board. I'm gonna just, and it's also in the Google Sheets. Can you see the spreadsheet I'm sharing now?
Yes.
Okay. So before Miro, I used to type all this stuff on a spreadsheet. It was easier. But Miro is a little bit more collaborative and fun. You can type these things in here. So your competitors, a bit of information about the company, about the product experience, explain how they are different, their pricing, their messaging, what do their customers think about them, strengths, weakness, opportunity, threats. And this last thing, types of competitor. I want to talk about this because not all competitors are direct competitors, right? We're talking, there are direct competitors, and they're the ones that are literally like for like. They're the ones, if you think Optus, Telstra. Telstra exists, and then Optus existed because Telstra exists. That's, you know, they say no, the other one says yes, right? Everyone knows that story. McDonald's, Burger King, McDonald's, Hungry Jack's, whatever. That's direct competition. But then indirect is things like, let's go through the McDonald's and kind of fast food. Fast food, there's burgers and then there's pizza. That's an indirect competitor. Or it could be burgers and Nando's, or, you know, KFC or whatever. But they're competitors in the fast food space, but they're not providing the same product like for like. And that might be the, I guess, dating apps for everyone versus dating apps for parents, single parents, right? There's potential competitors, and this is where they solve similar or provide similar, solve similar problems, but with different products or services, right? This is like, I want to travel from Sydney to Melbourne. I can catch a flight, I can catch the train, I can drive, I can hire a car. So they're kind of potential competitors. Yeah. And then there's substitutes, workarounds. So potential for the McDonald's example is like your McDonald's or your local takeaway. That's not a fast food chain. They're competing against each other. If the job is I'm hungry and I want to get something quickly and conveniently, there could be fast food takeaway, McDonald's, or it could be the takeaway. A substitute is where the products are a complete replacement or a workaround for our product service. So maybe I won't get takeaway, I won't get McDonald's, but I'll have a frozen meal, or I'll have a meal delivery service where I cook everything at home fresh, right? So that's when you think of, because you may think, I actually don't have any direct competitors. But if you think through these types of competitors about the job to be done, that job can be solved multiple different ways. Any questions? Right.
No.
Oh. Someone say something?
No, she said no, no questions.
All right, all of this is on your Miro board. It is in the week 3. So you'll find it all here. And you can start putting things in here, which is kind of nice. Bharat, do you want to show what you were doing with ChatGPT?
Awesome. Great, thanks, Harry. And then we'll jump on to the market sizing as the last thing, right? Cool. Guys, just again quickly, who said they have used ChatGPT before? Eliza, Philly, you guys have been using it for your business so far?
Well, if I need some tasks done here and there, but I only used it twice so far. So I'm kind of the prompting part. I'm not really good at the prompts, but yeah.
Sure. And you, Eliza?
No, I've never used it.
I used it. Okay, awesome. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and just run you guys through an example. And Stevie, I think to be super handy for you as well for a lot of the conversations you are having. I'll just go to an example here. So at the moment, like in AI, ChatGPT, and also like Microsoft Copilot are the two like most popular ones. Again, Google has got Gemini now, which is also getting very popular. But yeah, I recommend you start with ChatGPT. That's the most widespread at the moment in terms of how much information it has access to. So what I want to show you guys is to run through a little research for Sportscape. I wish Josh was here, Zain. I've just done a little search for him. But basically, like the way you interact with ChatGPT is, you have a natural language conversation, right? It knows all, gives the context, the most context you can give, the most relevant your answers are going to be, right? And what you could also do here, it's just not relevant specifically to this conversation, but once you sign up in ChatGPT, if you go here to your settings, you could actually personalize it. I'll just go. Once again, it's not letting me open. I'm just going to stop screen share for a second.
Maybe what we can do, Bharat, is help with creating or sharing a standard prompt that the guys can edit specifically for their ideas.
Yeah, we could do that. But I'll just quickly, there's another settings page I'm trying to show you guys where you can actually set up you know, like who you are, what you do. But we could do that another time. I can't do the screenshot of that specific page, but I'll show you what's happening with this conversation, right? So if we see here, you know, taking Sportscape as an example, I'm just telling you this is what I wrote, right? I'm building an app, Sportscape, to help travel organizers do group bookings for sporting events, right? The jobs to be done is to make the sports travel organizing easier, right? So, and I'm putting some key features, right? It will have key features like polling for deciding dates and matches, integration with sporting ticketing platform, a wallet to collect and distribute money. Who are the players in this space? What are the alternatives my customers have? Right? So if you just see the prompt that I'm giving to ChatGPT, I'm giving it the context, right? And it's coming from my thinking of jobs to be done as well, right? Like if you again think about Josh Sportscape as an example, he saw his product as a sports multiple event ticket booking platform, right? And he could say, oh, there is no direct competition for me in terms of an app where people can go and, you know, book tickets for multiple events in one app, right? That's the key functionality he's focusing on. So he could just see his product from a technical perspective and say, my product is an app where people can buy tickets for multiple sports event in one app, right? You guys got the context of his app, right? Josh was here for the last 2 weeks. That's what he's building. So from that context, if he tries to go and find an app on the App Store, he might say there is no competition, right? But if we step back and go, okay, what is the job that I'm trying to do here? Like how in my customer's life, what are they trying to do, and what is my app helping them with, right? So in this case, his customers are people who are traveling with their friends, right? They're traveling with their friends to watch sports thing, and they have to organize that sports travel. And essentially what he's doing is making that process easier, because it's too hard to go to, you know, one website, book that match, go to another website, book another match. It's very hard. So he's making the job of organizing sports travel easier, right? So I give that context, and I'm able to do that because I have this new perspective, this new jobs to be done framework that I can apply. And I'm asking, who are the players? Give me some alternatives, right? And it has given me, like, you know, SeatGeek is a platform where you can buy app. It's given us, you know, simple example like Eventbrite, but also another app called Sports Where I Am. Again, I went and looked at the links of these. At the moment, ChatGPT can't give you URLs, but it can give you the names. But I was going to have a conversation with Josh if he was here today, but unfortunately he's not. But Sports Where I Am actually has some of those functionalities of booking multiple things as well in one app, right? But you can also see it's giving me alternatives, right? What else are customers doing at the moment? So this is the only thing that he thought of, right? Sports travel, they might be using spreadsheets to put the cost. They might be using WhatsApp to do the communication with their group, right? They might be using Google Calendar to put and share and see who's available on a common date, right? So the other alternative is they're using manual coordination using emails and spreadsheets, or they might be using general event planning apps like Trello and Tripit for this job of making the sports travel planning easier, right? Or if you think about upmarket, they might be using travel agencies. So I'm like, wow, yeah, travel agencies is definitely though it's not a direct competitor, again, going back to Irene's example of your competition is not someone who does another app which does exactly the same, but how are people doing that? Because that's going to help you think, how can I reach my market? What's going to be my messaging? And how is my product positioned compared to these options they have, right? So if people had money, in Josh's case, they don't have to go and, you know, go to 5 websites and do that. They can just go to a travel agent, sports travel agent, and just book it, right? That led me into like just researching sports travel agency, right? And we found that that's a huge industry, sports travel agency, right? And we found like Australian sports store, and all they do is you give them a date and matches they want. They book everything, they book your hotel, they book your thing, they organize the whole thing for you, right? Travel and sports, we just again went and did another Google search of like, sports travel agencies, and then it gives you like tens and tens of results in terms of alternative ways these customers can solve the problem, right? So again, you can
So you can see how powerful it is, right?
and then it gave me all these responses, right? Like I'm just giving you an example of questions, right? You can see my next question to that was, what did I ask here? Great. And even technical feasibility, right? Is it possible to build an app where I can allow users to buy tickets for multiple events from one app, right? Because yes, it's entirely possible, and this is how you do it. You need integration with ticketing systems via APIs, Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, StubWeb. You can build APIs through integration, and you implement a secure payment gateway, and that's how you can do it, right? It's even giving me technology stack. That's all the response from it, right? And then I'm like, you can have basically like a man to human conversation with ChatGPT, right? Okay, then I'm saying, okay, I want this to be a key feature for Sportscape. What do you think? I just want to see what it responds. And then it says, yeah, integrating the ability to buy tickets for multiple events from single app is an excellent idea. This aligns perfectly with the goal of making sports travel organizing easier. Here are some reasons why this feature would be beneficial, right? Convenience, streamlined booking, time saving, eliminates the need to visit multiple ticketing websites. It's pretty much the only thing that Josh thought of in terms of building his app. Okay, I'm going to eliminate the need to visit multiple ticketing websites. But you can see all the other enhanced way you can now use this messaging in your marketing, right? One-stop solution, integrated service for date polling, money collection, and travel coordination, right? And then it even gives you like what key features you can have. So implementation plan, event discovery, implement robust search and filter options so people can easily find the sport by date and location and by team. Then you can provide detailed information about the events, and then you can have ticket purchase integration with API integration, shopping cart, and you can have profile management. It's pretty much giving me all the features of what I can have in the app, right? Anyway, and then it's even giving me like, okay, what could be my development steps? Requirement gathering, designing, backend development. That's what we are doing for him at the moment. We are in designing prototyping phase. Once we have done that, we can go into the development. But you can see how smart this is. This is like, can get founders on steroids, having like being able to use this in a really smart way. You can just get things done much faster. Anyway, so then after it gave the response, I ask a follow-up question, right? Okay, great. So at the moment, customers in this space, i.e. people who are organizing sports trip for their friends and family, or looks like they're either overserved by the sports travel, so they charge a lot of money. They're overserved by the sports and travel companies like Sportsnet, TravelNet, or they are underserved. So the overserved, underserved is a concept that's super helpful for you to look at the job. So there's a job the customer wants done. There's always alternatives where they are overserved, where they pay a lot of money and they give you lots of bells and whistles, right? So in this case, it's a travel agency example, right? In the dating world example, Eliza, it might be they're working with the dating coach. Single parents might be working with dating coaches, right? Or they're going to like single dating for single parents events, right? So events and coaching could be another way they are getting their job done, their problem solved, but they're overserved in that aspect. They're paying more to have access to that, right? Or they might be underserved, where they are trying to talk to their friends and go, do you know any other single parent? Like, in this, again, the sports example, they're underserved with the alternative of where they can use polling apps, bill splitting apps, chat apps like WhatsApp, using a number of apps to solve the job, get the job done, right? So Sportscape is positioning in between that, right? Can you help me with the competitor comparison for my product, right? And then it goes, sure. Competitor comparison, it gives me, Sportsnet, travel sports, that's what they do. Or they can use WhatsApp, Doodle for, deciding on events and dates, Splitwise for splitting the bills. So that's how customers can do it at the moment, right? And what would be the positioning of Sportscape? Sportscape is a comprehensive app to streamline organization of sports trip by offering all-in-one solutions. It combines features like date pooling, ticket purchasing, group communication. It provides the convenience of full-service sports travel agency without the high cost, while also eliminating the need to juggle multiple apps for different aspects of trip planning. So you can see how all these words now you can use them in your content, in your marketing, in your landing page. Super valuable, right? And then it even gave me a table, right? So it put all the competitors there, and it went event ticketing. What can I do in each of these? Event ticketing. Yeah, Sportscape, I can do ticketing. Travel sports area ticketing. WhatsApp, Doodle, I can't do that, right? Travel coordination. So it's comparing all the different aspects across the competitors. So then okay, where is my position? Am I going to tick all of that, or I'm going to pick like, these 4 things seems to be not available in most places. So that's the gap I'm trying to solve, right? So when you do a comparison and then you see a gap in terms of what is not available, and you can position your product in that gap, right? It's even giving me like a simple marketing strategy. And then you can see like to that I said, I looked at that, and in my research I found there are a couple of apps called Troop, which allows group travel booking. So I said, can you include, okay, thanks, in your competitor comparison table, can you include Troop group travel planning app and bookseats.com? And then sure, here is an updated table after including this, right? And it included those 2 examples here, Troop and Bookseats. I can again see what they can't do, right? And it gave me the information as the downloaded information as well, right? From there, show you this. Okay, now can I download the table as a spreadsheet? I typed that, right? And it can say, sure, you can download the competitor as a spreadsheet here. It gave me a download link. I can basically click that and download the sheet. So anyway, you guys can hopefully see like how powerful using this can be. There's more I wanted to show, but we'll save that for the next session. You can go into as much like, so that's a quick intro to ChatGPT. You guys have any questions you want to ask? And then the last section is Aaron is going to quickly cover market sizing as well for the next, probably we need another 5-10 minutes to go through that.
I might just close off, if you think, Ralph, on the partners.
Yeah.
And then we could do market sizing in the next session.
Yep, we could do that.
Yeah.
Quick question. Irene, you were mentioning before, is it possible to have those ChatGPT prompts for people to kind of change the words and put their kind of business in? Is that something that we can do? Because in that example that Brath was just showing, I feel like a lot of those prompts that Brath's used would be super helpful if they're adjusted for each of the individual businesses. Is that possible, do you think?
Yeah, I think we should. I think that's fine. So, Brath, if you don't mind, we can just create super simple prompts that the guys can change a few pieces.
Or even just change what you've already got there and make it more relevant for their individual businesses. Because as you both said, ChatGPT is incredibly powerful, but only if you're prompting it in a way that allows it to be.
Yeah. And I think what's important is, for these founders to like start that conversation, once they become smart at asking questions, it's like a superpower that you can have throughout your whole startup journey. So we can give you some prompts, but the main thing I want you guys to take away is to learn about prompting.
Yeah.
Right. And if you guys learn how to prompt it and get the answers, and you'll get smarter as you use it. And you can be creative. You can just like, if this person wants to know my context and I can ask any questions, what would I ask? Right. And as you use it, the more you can be smart about interacting with ChatGPT, that's going to be your superpower. Right. I'll be happy to organize some prompts, but what's going to be more super valuable for them is to learn that skill of interacting with ChatGPT, which is not hard.
I think the thing with ChatGPT is you can't go to it without any knowledge. You can't go to it completely blank, because it'll make things up and you won't be able to go, actually, that doesn't look right. I looked at the rest of what you did, Barak, and I think you asked it about market sizing. I had done that, Google search reports, and it came up, it had different numbers. I had different numbers to what ChatGPT had, which I'll show in the next session.
Of course, yeah,
But
that's
why,
the next thing we're going to cover. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few ways. Yeah. So looking at the time, we are on the hour. Market research on regulatory and stakeholders. So we talk about competitors. They could be threats, ideas you could borrow. But on the regulators, stakeholders, this is where you should think about your landscape, where you're playing in your product and your app, and who is it that could help you make your app successful? Who are the stakeholders that you should engage with? Regulators, regulatory bodies, compliance. Who do you need their stamp of approval that you should work with and partner with that can help your product be successful? Like I had here an example for Nathan Streetwise, and that's, he's interviewing training bodies. And that's really valuable because as people are getting trained on, this product or this problem or this role, you can actually then engage them and offer them a trial of this product and make sure that the product that you're building, the app that you're building, solves their problem so it's worthy of something to be offered as a trial to them. So there's opportunities there when you think about partners, who the regulator is, any other stakeholders that you should work with. This area is in the Miro board and it's also in that spreadsheet. So what I want you guys to think about until next week is also think about who are the partners, who are the players that you should work with. For prompt you, my thoughts were teachers and schools and parent and PNC bodies and, Sportscape, obviously sporting clubs. How can we go past that, right? Dating, Relationship Australia, maybe. I don't know. We can look at that globally.
Coaches, like, any coaches that are focusing on parents and helping parents get back into the dating world,
yeah,
be partners, and feeling, going to your example, like if there are chefs, celebrity African chefs that are talking about
yes,
cooking and African food, and if they can mention about like get these ingredients, and if you can use them in your partnership, and if they talk about, you can see how you can reach a mass of customers once you focus on, okay, and I'm focusing on the problem of finding ingredients for special cooking. Now I can partner potentially with the celebrity African chef who could talk about my app.
So think about influencers, right, in social media that you can use. That's how I grew my skincare. I had influencers.
Yes, I've been thinking about because I just downloaded this new app. I don't know, it's called, it's an info social base. Have you guys heard of it?
Yep.
Yeah, I just downloaded yesterday. So I'm gonna go into that, try to get some influences and go from there.
Yeah. Because the other thing is like if identifying them now can help input into the design of the product, but also in your go-to-market. Like I'm just thinking maths, you'd want them to be going just casually, oh, I used to use this app. This is the app that I was using before I got onto this show, or whatever, right? Or for chefs, what is that show? Is it MasterChef or where they cook at home as well? There's a lot of just thinking through all of that. And that takes us to market sizing, which I might pause here and look at this next week.
Yeah, we can look at it next week, or if you have the time and other people have the time, you can go. How long do we need for that?
Do you guys want to stay? Probably maybe another 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes.
I don't have the time for that, unfortunately, but if you want to do it now, I'm happy to just watch the replay later.
No, we'll do it next week. All good.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do it next week. Anyway, we don't have at least 3 other people today, so let's do it.
So in that case, you guys, next steps, you have your Miro boards. Please make sure that you can access it. You have your Google Sheets with your ID name. Please let me know, make sure, put a request to make sure that you get access to it, because I don't have it so it's open to everyone. I want to make sure it's only you guys looking at your stuff, right? There's a Google form template and we can do that afterwards, but the most important thing is getting the questions first. And then homework is more, probably not even this, we'll do that in the following week.
Yeah.
But homework is survey, start creating it, think about where to share it, and start doing the competitor and partner analysis. So in here we'll have the competitor analysis you can add, partner analysis you can add, and customer survey. And of course, it's also in the Miro board.
Will we get access to that PowerPoint or?
Oh yeah, can we send this as a PDF? We could do that. I'll just remove the stuff for next week.
Or can you leave the last part? What you should be like the last page here, the next step?
Oh yeah, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
perfect.
And next week we'll do market sizing, pricing, positioning, and I'll introduce you to the lean canvas.
You might have to
And
do
this
the
is all a
lean
bit of a
canvas
work in
before.
progress. So don't think that, oh, if I haven't done it now, I can't do it later, because the world keeps changing. So think of it as your endless whiteboard document master sheet where you just keep updating and adding to as you find new competitors, new thoughts, new links, new anything. Right.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. Yeah,
And you
maybe
should all
I'll-
have my
Mhm.
Calendly so that we can have a one-on-one. You can book me and we can just go through specifically your idea. Okay.
Fantastic.
Brilliant, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well done. Good
Guys,
job. Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you, and see you all.
Thank you guys. I'm really looking
Once again,
forward to
thanks for your time.
Cheers.
See you next
See you
week.
all next week.
it. Yeah. Bye.